podcast. I'm HAZWANI, your host for today's podcast. Today, we will discuss an important topic under the theme of health and well-being, which is mental health issue among students. As we know, mental health refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It influences how we think, feel, behave, and respond to challenges in our daily life. In other words, it plays a very important role in shaping how students manage their stress, interact with others, and make decisions. Nowadays, many students are facing mental health challenges due to academic pressure, personal responsibility, social expectation, and concern about the future. According to many studies, stress and anxiety are becoming more common among students. From my perspective, I think that this issue deserves more attention because mental health affects not only academic performance but also student relationship, confidence, and overall quality of life. If students do not receive proper support, these challenges may become more serious over time. Today, we are fortunate to have a school counselor and a psychiatrist with us to share their insight and suggestions.
Hi, my name is NAZIRAH binti Muhammad OTHMAN and I am a school counselor.
And hi, my name is SALIYAH AZLAN as your secretary today.
Thank you both of you for joining our podcast today.
Thank you for inviting me, Ms. HAZWANI. I am pleased to be here and it's a good opportunity to have in this room with you guys. So as a school counselor, I often meet students who face emotional and academic challenges. Most of them are struggling silently because they're afraid that they are being judged or misunderstood. So I believe that discussing about mental health openly is help students to realize that they are not alone. So throughout this discussion, I really hope that we can raise awareness and encourage students to seek help when needed.
Thank you for inviting me too. I'm so excited to be here. Mental health is just as important as physical health. When students experience ongoing stress, anxiety, and also depression for a long time, it can affect many aspects of their life. So I hope our discussion today will help students understand more about mental health issues so that they can maintain their well-being.
Thank you both of you for the great info. Okay, let's get into by discussing the factors that contribute to mental health problems among students. From what I have observed, many students today are constantly busy with assignments, tests, presentation, project, and also examination. Sometimes several deadlines come at the same time, making students feel more overwhelmed and unable to manage their time properly. I also noticed that many students always compare themselves with their classmates, especially through social media and academic achievement. They tend to focus on other people's success rather than their own progress. So, as a result, they may feel that they are not good enough even when they are doing their best. This constant comparison can slowly affect their self-confidence and lead to negative thinking patterns. So, counselor, from your working experience with students, how was academic pressure become such a common issue today?
Thank you for the question. So, as a counselor, I really agree with that statement, which is academic pressure is one of the main factors of mental health issues among students. Students, they are expected to complete all the assignments, prepare for examinations, participating in co-curricular activities, or even maintaining a good grade at the same time, all in once. So, when there are too many responsibilities, the student, they may feel exhausted or unable to cope with effectively. I still have talk. So some students, they try to handle everything by their own because they feel they can do it, but they become stressed when they cannot meet all these expectations. from my experience as a school counselor, I have met students who become very anxious before examination. This is because she afraid that she got low marks. But some of them already tried to studying late at night and even sacrifice their sleep. So through their performance, to improve their performance, the lack of rest make them feel even tired and stressed. Another factor is unrealistic expectation. Once we become a parents, we have this expectation to our kids or our children. So there are some parents who put really high expectation towards their kid. So this kid, which is the children, they have pressure from their parents, from their teachers, and even from themselves. So when they have that thing in mind that they need to keep that they must excellent, they must get straight A's, they must get first place. So when they have that in mind, and when they fail to reach all of these expectations, they feel, disappointed, so down, and they put all the blame on them. So for example, I once met a student who felt very upset after receiving a lowest mark just only by 2 or 3 marks, just because she doesn't get straight A's or right. So she even compared herself with her friend's result and felt like he's a failure. So this situation, it shows that comparison will affect negatively towards mental health. In my opinion, students should remember that learning is a process, and nobody can be perfect all the time. That's all.
I agree with that point. Sometimes students focusing on so much on achieving success that they forget to take care of themselves. So, doctor, besides academic pressure and expectation, what are the factors that contribute to mental health problem among students?
Thank you. Adding to the counselor's point, another important factor is the fear of failure and uncertainty about the future. As we can see now, students worry whether they can graduate on time, continue studying, maintain their scholarship, or even find a good job after graduation. This concern can cause anxiety. Other than that, social media also can contribute to a stress, which we can see students are often exposed to posts showing other people's achievement or even a success. So it's not a good thing actually, because they might be compare themselves to other people's perfect life. So actually, if this will continue for a long time without a proper support, students may become emotionally exhausted and experience anxiety-related symptoms.
Thank you, Dr. Saya. I completely agree with your point. That's very insightful perspective. Now, let's move on to the effect that leads to mental health problem among students. In my opinion, mental health challenges do not only affect student emotion. They can influence many parts of student daily life, including studies, physical health, and social relationship. Students may start to lose focus, feel unmotivated, and struggle to complete their tasks effectively. Over time, this can lead to a decline in academic performance. In addition, many students assume that stress can help them to perform better. However, when stress becomes more excessive, it may have the opposite effect and reduce productivity. So, doctor, what are some common effects experienced by students who are struggle with mental health issue?
That's an excellent question. Actually, mental health can affect both physical and emotional well-being. Students may experience difficulty of sleeping, tiredness, overthinking, or even loss of appetite. Emotionally, They may feel anxious, sad, frustrated, worried, and easily irritated. Some students also experience loss of motivation and loss of interest in activity that they used to like and they used to enjoy. These difficulties can affect concentration, memory, and decision-making skills. As a result, students may find it harder to complete assignments, participate in class, and even perform well in examination. If these symptoms are ignored, students may struggle academically and emotionally. Therefore, recognizing the warning sign early is very effective and very important.
Thank you, Dr. Saliyah. That's very informative opinion from you. Many people only notice physical symptoms such as headache or tiredness, but they may not realize this can be connected to mental health challenges. So, counselor, how do mental health problems affect student social life and relationship?
I completely agree with your explanation, Dr. Saliyah. Besides affecting academic performance, mental health can also affect relation and social interaction. Students who are struggling mentally, they often prefer to be alone. They may or do not want participating in any group activities or avoid talking to their friends and even less active during lessons. This is because they feel that nobody understands their situation, so they choose to keep their problem to themselves. For example, I have met students who avoided their friends because felt embarrassed about their academic performance. Instead of seeking support from her friends or a counselor, they tend to choose isolating themselves. So, if this situation continues, the student may feel very lonely and even more feel disconnected from the people around herself. So that's why I say support from their family members, teachers and friends, even from themselves, is much more extremely important.
Thank you, counselor. That's an interesting point of view. Now, after we discussing the causes and the effect, let's focus on possible solution. Personally, I believe that mental health should be treated just as seriously as physical health. For example, if someone has physical illness, they seek treatment. So, the same principle should be applied to mental health. Furthermore, students should never feel ashamed to ask for help because everyone faces challenges at some point in their life. In fact, seeking for help is an important step toward recovery and self-improvement. It is also important for students to recognize their own limit and not push themselves too hard beyond what they can handle. So, counselor, what are some practical steps students can take when they begin feeling more overwhelmed?
Thank you for asking. There are several ways that students can manage and improve their mental health. First and foremost is talk to someone you trust. Like us, doctor, if we have any problem and we want to talk to someone we trust, right?
Yes.
Yes, that applies to the student as well. They can talk to someone they trust, like their parents, their siblings, their children, or even friends. The reason I'm saying this because sharing problem could help to reduce the emotional burden and they can feel supported. Next is time management. Well, as we know, students have a lot of things to do, right? So time management is very, very crucial. Every student should know and develop good time management skill. For example, they can create a study schedule or organizing tasks according to priority. This way, it could help the student to reduce unnecessary pressure. Another important step is maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Students, they should get enough sleep, exercise regularly, and also eat a balanced meal. This way contribute positively toward their mental well-being. In addition, I would also want to say that students, they need to make time for their activities to enjoy. For example, if she wants to read a novel, she could read any genre from any type, listening to any music. For example, if they like television, maybe playing any sport like badminton or football, right? And then do some fun activity with their best friend and family. So as a school counselor, I always encourage students to seek help earlier, because the earlier they seek help, the easier we get managed to solve their difficulties before it get more serious and worse. So in my opinion, asking for help is sign of strength, not a weakness. That's right.
Wow, I completely agree with your point, counselor. Having a strong support system can make a huge difference. So, doctor, how can professional help support students who are experiencing mental health difficulties?
Actually, a professional helps students with assessments, guidance, and also support. Mental health professional as me or Miss Nazirah will help students to understand their emotion, identify the causes of their stress, and also try to develop healthy coping strategies. In some situations, professional intervention may prevent problems from becoming more severe. This is why students should not hesitate to seek assistance when necessary. I would also suggest that educational institutions to keep promoting about mental health issue among students, so that students can feel comfortable accessing available support services.
Thank you, Dr. Saliyah. I strongly agree with what you said.
La 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 la.
Oops! Before we end, we received an email from a student, so let me read it first. Hi, I am university student studying abroad. Lately, I've been feeling very lonely. I try to keep up with my studies, but I often feel exhausted and unmotivated. I see my friend doing well, and I feel like I'm falling behind. Sometimes I cry at night, but I don't tell anyone about it because I don't want to be a burden. I don't know if this is normal anymore. Honestly, this is quite heavy to read it. So, counselor, what's your opinion about this problem who are experiencing by a student?
That must be hard for her, right? Everyone, this is what students right now are facing nowadays. What students feeling is actually more common than people think. Feeling lonely, tired, or even comparing themselves to others can happen when someone is under pressure for too long. But please, the important thing is, don't ever stay silent. Please try to look out for someone to talk something about your day, about your bad day, because it really helps you to tighten or to lighten the emotional burden you have faced. That's for me.
Thank you, Nazirah. So, doctor, what's your opinion about this problem too?
From that message and what she described, it sounds like she have a anxiety symptom or even like a emotional exhaustion. But we cannot diagnose it just based on a message, right?
Yes.
So still, if this continue for a long time, I would suggest her to go ask for help, especially to us like professional, a counselor and psychiatrist, because even a small action today will help to make a big difference.
Thank you both of you for expressing your opinion and thought. So, if anyone listening feels the same, please remember, you are not alone in this.
La 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 la.
Oops! We received another email from another student too. So, let me read it first, okay? Hi, I am a final year student. My family expect me to get an excellent result. They say it's for my future. but I feel very pressured. I always scared of disappointing them. I try my best, but I feel very stressed and cannot sleep well because I keep thinking about my result. So personally, I feel it is very common but a sensitive issue. Most parents doesn't mean to pressure their children, but most of them want their children to be succeed. So consider, what's your opinion about this problem?
Well, for me, this is not a very common issue among students, especially during academic years. So, for me, family expectation usually come from care and hope for a better future. But when it becomes too intense, it can turn into pressure, right? So, the student here mentioned that the feeling scared of disappointing their family, right? So this definitely shows not only academic stress, but also emotionally stress. And in addition, this can lead to feeling overthinking all the night, anxiety before any exams, having poor sleeps, and even loss of confidence. From my own experience, I always encourage students to please communicate with their parents in a calm way. For example, I want to give this one present for you guys to ask for your parents. Such, for example, like, Mom, I really appreciate your support, but I feel very stressed when I worry about disappointing you. So this statement could you ask towards your parents so that they can understand more about your situation. Please let them know about your situation and don't stay silent. And most family we understand when they know how the student feel. Also, student must remember that the effort is more important than perfection. And please remember that the result do not define your work, my dear students. And hey, it's okay to be human who make mistakes.
Thank you, Ms. Nazirah. So, Dr. SALIYAH, what's your perspective about this problem?
Thank you. From a psychological view, this situation creates emotional pressure in addition to academic stress. When a student feels they must not disappoint their family, it creates constant mental tension. This can cause anxiety, difficulty of sleeping, tension, overthinking because of the small thing, and also loss of appetite. Because stress is not just only because of the exam, but also emotional consequences. However, this can be managed by student itself. An example, students can learn stress coping strategies such as breathe properly and so on. Other than that, they can also talk to someone that they trust, like family and friends, because it can help them even if a small action, right? In some cases, counseling support can help also improve communication between students and family. Most importantly, students should understand that their value is just not based on examination. That's all.
Thank you, both of you. I think this is something many students silently go through, feeling like they don't succeed not just for themselves but for the entire family. But at the same time, we need to remember that support should not feel like a pressure. So, to conclude, mental health among students is an important issue that should not be ignored. Today, we discuss several contributing factors including academic pressure, expectation, fear of failure, and concern about the future. We also explore the effect on well-being, social being, physical health, academic performance, and social relationships. Most importantly, we learn that support is available and students do not have to face their struggle alone. So, I need both of you to give some advice to our students who are struggling to face mental health issue?
As a school counselor, I would like to remind my lovely students out there that experiencing stress and difficulties does not mean that you guys are weak. No. Everyone faces challenges at different stages of their life. What matters most is recognizing when help is needed and taking positive steps to seek support. So, my last word is please remember that your mental well-being is just as important your academic success. If you are not doing okay in your mind, you cannot do anything on your day.
That's all from me. Thank you, Counselor. So, Dr. Saliyah, what's your perspective?
To conclude, I totally agree with the counselor said. So actually, I just want to say that it's okay to not be okay sometimes, but it's okay to keep everything inside, and it's okay to ask for help. So our advice to yours:
Take care of your mental health. You are not alone.